think about some of the things that you could bring in to your business that will help you ultimately streamline, ultimately, do all the things because that's that's your goal, right? You want to be able to do more in your business.
Welcome to the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. I'm Chelsea Gardner, and if you're ready to make marketing clear, manageable, and fun with practical steps and effective tools, you are in the right place, my friend. Together, we'll untangle the complexities of marketing your business and transform them into clear, actionable steps. Let's dive in.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. If you are watching this on YouTube, you are going to see chaos behind me because y'all, I have spent the last weekend. So when you're hearing this podcast, it will be like the weekend before, and I am redoing my office space. It is something that I've been wanting to do, and I loved my office. If y'all have ever watched any of my podcasts or anything on my social media, I have like a teal wall behind me with a cow photo that I absolutely adore. However, I'm trying to embrace a little bit more of my personality. So if you know me, my personality is very bold. It's very bright. I love bright colors. If you follow me on Instagram, you will see all of my stuff is a rainbow everywhere. I love bright colors. I'm very drawn to them. My business logo is hot pink and orange. So with that being said, I am repainting my wall. And so if you're listening to this, you can't see, but there are colors everywhere behind me right now. And this week, my dad actually is going to be helping me and put up we're going to do like wooden slats in between all of these like lines that you're seeing. So it's going to look beautiful, but right now it looks like a chaotic mess. And I'm just not one to really blur out my background, because this is real life. So it is what it is behind me, but y'all, I did a pretty daggone good paint job. The squares, like I said, there's going to be like white boards. So like the jagged lines, but paint job's pretty darn good. So anyways, I am wanting to come on here and talk about business and overwhelm because it is just that season of life. And I feel like we're, 4 months away from a new year, actually less than 4 months. We are 3.5 months away from a new year. And so many people have New Year's resolutions and business goals and goals that they had at the beginning of the year and didn't, now is the time to really kind of dig in, readjust those goals, take a look at them and say, okay, where am I at right now in my business? Where did I want to be in my business? And how can I spend the last 3.5 months to maximize where I want to be, right? I want to get there. So how can I do that? And it's really that time to kind of sit down and think about, do I need to hire? Hiring help is a great way to offload some of the tasks so that you can focus on what you do best, whether that is hiring a virtual assistant to help with, phone calls or emails or your calendar, or hiring someone like me for social media so you can get that off your plate. There's a lot of different people out there that you can hire to bring in and really kind of start offloading some things so that you can focus on other areas of your business that are crucial for you and your growth. And so that's kind of, where I'm at in my business, really kind of looking at, okay, where am I at right now? And where do I want to be? Where am I trying to go? What are my goals coming up in the new year? What were my goals coming into this year? Have I exceeded them? Have I met them? Are there things, one of my biggest goals was I wanted to hire a full-time employee by the end of the year. And y'all, I've accomplished that. It's not one, I have three contractors, but their hours equate to a full-time employee. And y'all, I'm so thankful for that. And I want you to think about that too, right? Like if you are hiring out, you don't necessarily need to hire 40 hours a week for one person to do something. Hire people that are strategic and they understand like their area of expertise. You don't need to bring on someone to do all of it. And you don't need, there's VAs out there that'll take just a couple of hours a week. I started out with, one just 5 hours a week. And then I have one that does 3 hours a week. But it's smaller tasks that don't require a lot of time. I mean, it takes up, 3 hours every week, for me to take away from the business. That's time. But there's people that will take smaller hours. So look for that. You don't have to hire a full-time or a part-time employee in one, right? And so really start digging into your processes. How can you maybe streamline things better or more efficiently or easier? How can you, what systems could you bring into play that will help you, with some of this stuff? And, one thing that I've brought in is, well, I've always had a CRM of some kind, right? So my email service provider, and then I have a project management tool. I operate a little bit differently because I'm managing multiple clients. So my project management tool kind of manages the clients as well as my staff. But think about some of the things that you could bring in to your business that will help you ultimately streamline, ultimately, do all the things, because that's your goal, right? You want to be able to do more in your business, work less, I'm sure, but do more in your business, have the help that you need because you're running ragged, right? And y'all, I don't have anything I'm going by. Normally I have some notes. So I'm just rambling today. But it's kind of been on my heart, right? It's just something that I feel with the last 3.5 months left of the year that it's time to reevaluate and it's time to look at our business and determine where can we grow? Social media is a huge facet of business these days, right? And when it comes to social media, it's one of those things where a lot of people hate it, some people love it. You're good at it, you're not good at it, whatever the case is. That is something that if you're not actively doing in your business, I highly encourage you to start the last 3.5 months. Get into a routine of doing consistent posting. Get into a routine of, really working out what it is that is holding you back from posting, from emailing, from doing video content, from, showing your face on online or whatever the case is. What is holding you back from some of those goals and things that you were trying to accomplish? And then how are you going to get there? So if you are a loan officer and you are not utilizing social media, you're really missing out on some, first-time home buyers, on realtors, right? Because they're using those platforms. I have a statistic, I can't remember it off the top of my head, but if you're trying to go after first-time home buyers, millennials, y'all, they're on social media. And while, okay, yes, maybe you're not going to get a direct DM. I'm a millennial, right? So maybe you're not going to get a direct DM from me saying, hey, let's chat about a home loan. I am going to go search for you on social media. It's who I am. I am a millennial. I am in marketing. It's just the nature of everything, right? I want to make sure that that you're an expert in your field. So how do you prove that you're an expert in your field? Sure. You're licensed. Sure. You have a website. Whatever the case is, but how are you educating people? And that can come across on social media. That can come across on YouTube. That can come across in a podcast, right? I think podcasts are a little harder in terms of searching. Like if you're a millennial, most will go to like the internet. But if you have a podcast, The great thing is it also will, most of the time you should be posting your podcast onto YouTube, and YouTube is a highly searchable platform through Google as well. So that is how you can be found there. And so it's just reevaluating all of the things. And honestly, that's kind of what I'm doing in my business, is just really reevaluating what processes, what systems I can use, and then go from there and see like what's working, what's not working. My team and I are doing a lot of tracking. The last we actually started at the beginning of September. We're doing a lot of tracking the last 4 months to really determine, where is business truly coming from. I am very blessed that I have a very large referral base, but outside of that, where are people coming from? How are people hearing about me? And that's where I want to pour my love and energy into, right? Because if you're coming to me through my podcast, then I want to make sure that I'm delivering so much value from my podcast. If you are coming to me because I do webinars and you see my webinar posts through Instagram, then I want to make sure that I continue to do webinars or post on Instagram or whatever the case is, right? So we're trying to evaluate that as well. So if you don't know where like your client base is coming from, you don't know what realtors are referring to you consistently, then I would start tracking that for the next 3 to 6 months so that you know where to really put your efforts into. One thing that is difficult is determining if someone hears about you through, social media online, right? So a lot of times people may find you on Instagram or Facebook or YouTube or listen to your podcast, but then they're going to go Google you. Right. And they're going to read your reviews. And then they typically will call you or email you through your website or through Google. And it's all about perspective, right? So if I know to tell you where I truly saw you, but if someone just Googled you after they maybe saw your YouTube video and you were to ask them how they found you, they're just gonna be like, yeah, I Googled you, right? But then why did they Google you, or how'd they Google you? Did you show up on the first page? Do you have really strong SEO, or did they see something, right? So sometimes you got to dig into those questions because people are just like, oh yeah, I Googled you. I saw you on Google. I called you. Or I went to your website. Well, how'd you get there? Okay. So there's various things that you need to do on your end to track that information. You can't just assume, you need to ask. So anyways, that's basically what I have to talk about today. We are really just ramping up. I am really pouring my heart and soul into my social hub right now, as well as my client work, right? I do one-on-one client work, with, social media and ad management. That's like my bread and butter of my business. And then I also have my social hub. And that is where loan officers can join. It's a monthly membership, very inexpensive, but you get a weekly email delivered right to your inbox that has a caption, a graphic, a video script, everything you need for to post that week. Or to create a Facebook ad from. And right now I'm also gearing up to wrap up my Canva course, and I'm super excited about that. And yeah, so I've got a lot going on, but I want to make sure that it aligns with my goals, and it aligns with my business and my business goals and my personal goals, right? I love being with my son. He's going to be 2 in a month, y'all. I cannot believe it. I've always heard like, oh, time flies, but like, no, legitimately it does. So he's gonna be 2 next month, and I just want to spend time with him. You don't get this time back. And so just really digging into processes and all of the things. So that's where I'm at, and I'm sure like coming up on the end of the year, that's where you might be at. So I wanted to kind of give you, hopefully this was a little bit of inspiration or some little nuggets here and there that you took away from it. But yeah, that is what I have for you. Please feel free, as always, to follow me on any social platform at the Chelsea Gardner. I would love to hear from you. Don't be shy. Send me a direct message. If you're looking at this, I would love to know your feedback on my wall. This over here is actually pink and orange. These are my brand colors, but I feel like on camera, this whole area, like this all looks like the same exact color. I mean, these two don't, but like all of these do. So I might need to figure out a way to like uplight it so it doesn't look so like that all looks like the same color. And those are four, like these are the same and these are the same. Yeah. Right? Okay. Anyway, anyways, this is the first time I'm looking at myself on camera with my new background. So I'm like, oh, I need to change some things. But anyways, I hope this was helpful, y'all, and I will chat at you next time. See you later.
Thanks for tuning into today's episode of the Simplified Social Marketing Podcast. Make sure to follow me on any of your favorite social platforms at the Chelsea Gardner. And don't forget to hit subscribe for your weekly dose of marketing magic. Until next time, my friend, remember to keep your marketing simple and effective.